Welcome to News Now Nation. I'm Ria, and today we are joined by someone very special. She has recently turned 18 years of age, and her name is Anshu Malika Roja Selvamini. Hi, Anshu. We are so lucky to have you here.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here too.
So, Anshu is an entrepreneur. She is a workaholic. She's an active social worker. She has multiple interests, and we'll slowly get to learn about them. So, Anshu, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well.
Great. So, let's begin by, understanding what your work is all about and, what was really inspiring you to, be so creative in like so many diverse fields.
Okay, so before that, a little bit of intro about myself so my journey makes a lot more sense to you. Is again, my name is Anshu, a teenager who's extremely ambitious. I can't tell you how much. I don't confine my abilities to a box, and I believe you can do it all. I'm an entrepreneur, social worker, author, ambassador, YouTuber, content creator, programmer, and a lot more. I think I was ambitious as long as I can remember. So, a little bit about my journey. I started coding when I was 7 years old. That's where this journey kind of started. Since I started so young, I was already much ahead of the curve and I had a lot of time for me to try out new different things. So, around 12 years old, I developed my first app. It was easy, but you have to start somewhere, right? Relatively. I realized we could solve some real world problems with code. That's when I built apps on growth, safety, interactive learning, and that won a championship at Triple IT Hyderabad. So from there, I began getting a lot of recognition, and people would invite me for speaking gigs or to talk. So I built a great network. So although I was one of the youngest participants there, that award kind of built some confidence in me that I really did have an exceptional coding ability than students in my age. So then, I'll talk about the app in detail later. But then at 17, I published my first book, The Flame in My Heart, which is again a reflection of my journey in itself in a fiction form. And then, apart from that, I do run two organizations and a mental health page. My company, Art for a Cause, is something I'm so passionate about and that I love. Today, I also have a strong online presence, and something I've realized about my journey and what inspires me to continue working is that no matter how much I work hard, it's when I connect with people and have that reach, only then does my work have that impact and it makes sense to do that work for me.
That's absolutely incredible. I mean, you're all of 18 and, doing so many things. It's like completely so wonderful. Like, I myself am very inspired. So, Anshu, tell us a little bit about your book, Flame in Your Heart, and how did you start writing? What was motivating you to actually, write a whole book?
Okay, so generally my whole life I was extremely bullied and I was so insecure and I felt bad about being me. I would want to be anybody else. And so I found writing as a place of escape. I couldn't say much to the people who did abuse me and who did say mean things to me. So I started writing in the form of poetry. I would talk about abuse, conflict, things around the world where I had a perspective about. And I started writing poetry, short stories with all these different world themes and internal themes at its core. And in lockdown, as we know, we all had a lot of time. So I'm like, so initially I started as a co-author working for different books, and I was told by a lot of people from around India and abroad that my work was really good. And why not give a try doing some a bigger writing project? And I was like, okay, why not write a book? It has been on my mind, and I thought, since so many people appreciate my writing and I do have an audience, why not try writing a book? So then I started sitting down and full-fledgedly reflecting on my entire life and picking out the most interesting things, the most saddest, most scariest, most happiest moments, and then converting them into work of fiction, like taking my life and my journey as an inspiration and then converting that into a book. That has been so rewarding for me.
Great. So you mentioned you're like coding since 7 years old, right? So how did that start? And tell us some more about the mobile application that you developed.
Okay, so how did coding stuff? It's like my from when I was, I think from when I was born, my parents always knew that I want my kid to be an overachiever because they're overachievers themselves. So when you have that kind of parents where the entire rooms are filled with awards and wherever you go, like people are talking like they're so famous and accomplished. That also kind of made me want to be like I want to be like that. But I realized that at a very early age, and I kind of was attracted to computers. I was fascinated by them. So at 7 years old, I remember my older brother trying to code or something on his laptop, and I was like, that looks cool. It all started by wanting to look cool, I guess. So like the guys with the computers typing and with those lines of code looked really cool to me. So then I talked to my dad, and we got a private tutor for myself, and I started learning how to code. And about the mobile app, so it started like when I was coming home and when I was in the eighth grade, I was coming home and I saw a construction site where there were a lot of children, small children, not even my age. At that time, I was 13, so they were all like 9 years old, 8 years old. They were all picking up construction bricks and all of that. That really broke my heart. We don't realize how much privilege each one of us who have access to internet come with. So I was like, I started taking tuitions for them, but then later they had to go back to their own hometown, and there was no access to me. So what I did was I sat down with a coding club, and there were college graduates in it. So we decided to come up with an interactive learning app where students, because everybody has access to a phone these days, where they can go back home and have small modules of content where they can get teacher support from back in the cities. So that's how that app happened.
Great. And you're a lot into social work as well, right? I think you have your own NGO, Art for Cause. So, are you yourself managing that, or like you have people in place, and what is it all about?
Okay, again, any initiative that I do has a lot of people attached to it because I do manage different responsibilities, but I feel like attaching a lot of people to it comes with a lot of accountability. If it were me, maybe if I don't want to show up for a meeting, I don't want to show up for a sponsorship, I will be like, no, I don't want to. But when I purposefully attach people, so like they hold me accountable if I'm not in it. And Art for a Cause, that how it started was I'm really good at art. So, and I always wanted to do some social entrepreneurship where, I want to be an entrepreneur, make my own products, but I want the profit and I want the company to be useful for the good of the people and society. So I was really good at art, and then I had made friends with a new digital artist, and digital art was just on the rise in the lockdown, and I was really good at handmade art. So we came up with this NGO come social entrepreneurship type company where we created a catalog of digital and handmade art products that we would then sell. And from the profit that we get, we use it to educate underprivileged children. And even the people that we do hire are artists who are very talented, but they don't get the pay or the talent or the recognition they deserve. So I think the entire organization is based on these principles and values.
I think that's something really remarkable of you to even think of, artists like that. And I'm sure I would love to see your paintings sometime as well. So, I mean, we've spoken about so many things: the tech side, you're developing a mobile, you're writing a book, the social work. So, what have you actually learned from this entire journey? I mean, considering you're only 18,
Yeah. So
and
I
you
think there's
started
a lot
work
of
as in like quite a few years back. So, what have you learned in this while?
starting my journey only from 7 and 12 years old, what I've realized is that age is a huge thing in the world. Because even if I have a good idea, they're gonna be like, you're only a teenager. Like, what do you know? They wouldn't even take you seriously. And also being a woman and being a teenager, they're gonna be like, you're only for the creative, to make the PPTs beautiful, as they say in memes. They don't even take your ideas. And I faced a lot of criticism and hate comments like that, because since you're young and you don't want to be difficult to work with, you kind of take a lot of insults to yourself. I used to have a lot of people where they used to take credit for my work. And since they're older, they'd be like, I did this, and they would gang up against me. So I just learned, people are not going to take me seriously and they're going to be mean to me, but I have to, put up with that because, success doesn't come from an easy journey. And apart from that, I have learned there's going to be negativity all around me, no matter what, and never be afraid to make mistakes. Because literally every time I made a mistake, it's taught me so much more than everything right I've ever done. So these are the things that I've learned.
Great. Great. So, who has been your motivating factor or somebody who's inspired you in your journey?
I think a lot of women, Priyanka Chopra, actors, just women who've come out being extremely insecure in their childhood and they've grown up to be such strong women. Like, for example, Priyanka Chopra, I take her example because I've seen so many interviews where she's like, I come with a brown skin and people have bullied me and all of that. Something I relate to. I didn't feel really pretty or the best growing up, but she was still able to conquer so much. That inspires me. And more than that, what inspires me is a great work ethic. And I always imagine the woman that I want to become. So if I want to achieve something, I have that vision in my head. And I think the woman that I want to become inspires me so much more than anybody ever can.
And continuing all this work, I mean, is there any one field that you want to, specialize in or keep doing or trying new things?
Again, I don't ever want to label myself or be like I'm an artist, I'm a creator, or an entrepreneur, or I'm a programmer. No, I don't want to ever do that. I just have a larger vision, which is universal access to education, and I have a large vision, and whatever work responsibilities fit into that. Like, for example, as a brand ambassador, I support sustainable brands. As a writer, I contribute to mental health awareness and a lot of that. So whatever fits my vision is what I want to be able to do. I want to achieve and contribute to that vision rather than being labeled a specific profession.
Amazing. And other than all these things, you're very good at academics as well. So how do you end up managing all these things, and what do you do in your free time otherwise?
Okay, academics, I'm extremely it sounds very weird, but like I am a lover of those trophies that you get at school. So I'm like, I need to study well. So that was also a little bit of motivation for me. But how I do manage is, I'm really hungry for all of these different things. I really want to be able to achieve a lot. And when you're hungry for that kind of vision, for that kind of you have that, what you know what you want. It makes it much easier when you're prepared and organized with all of these different things. And also I sleep like 6-7 hours maximum, so I have a lot of time. And also what I do in my free time is I love writing songs. If I feel like, my friends are like, you're always thinking of something productive, because even if I've just had an argument with a best friend or somebody's made me cry, I would come back quickly home and write a song about it, or write poetry about it, or sing something, or play the piano, or do something like that. That, and that kind of helps me process my whole emotional setting better.
Great. I think it's been a really inspiring journey for you. I mean, you're only 18 and you have inspired so many people with about 50,000 followers just on Instagram, having your own YouTube channel, writing a book. I mean, I don't think there's any field which is left untouched by you. So thank you, Anshu. It has been like wonderful listening to you, interacting with you. I hope I can achieve some things that you have achieved until now. It will be like a real blessing for me. So thank you. We really appreciate your time and effort, and we look forward to many more achievements for you.
Thank you so much. It was really amazing questions, and I had a great time reflecting and talking to you.
Great. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.